This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It's so great to have you joining me here in these online lessons. This is lesson 52 in this series that is all about jazz guitar. As you know, I work as a jazz artist and I'm so delighted to bring this course to you. Now in this lesson, we're going to build on what we've been doing in the last couple lessons and really the last several lessons. In that we're working on comping chords in the swing style in a more contemporary fashion, getting past the Freddie Green, the chunk, 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 and getting into playing more like a pianist would comp the chords after they stopped doing strides. So from that swing era on, kind of that sort of thing, especially the bebop era on, how we would comp in the swing style using that same sort of fashion. Now we've looked at lots of voicing since lesson 33. We've even sidestepped a little bit and worked on the bossa nova, but in the last two lessons, we've worked on this comping style. In the first one of those, Lesson 50, we looked at rhythmic aspects of comping. And then in the last lesson, we looked at pulling and putting in there a melody on top with the different voicing options that we have. Now we are going to look at putting in some passing chords because we can just spice it up a little bit more with these passing chords. We could talk about substitutions and all sorts of things that you can do in that. With that in mind, but we're not going to go there in this lesson. We'll save that for another day. We're just going to look at some ways we can throw in some passing chords that are kind of easy and work kind of nicely with the voicings that we've already been working on. I'm going to demonstrate it with the rootless voicings, but you can do these sorts of things really with any chords that you know how to do. And we'll just go ahead and take a look at this with the different chords that we have. So probably the easiest trick, it's so easy on guitar, is that we just sidestep a little bit, and this works the best with our dominant seventh chords. I left a couple of the rhythmic examples that we worked on 2 lessons ago, so in lesson 50. I've got them up here, but if we just took that do dot, I could move something sidestepping if I was playing my major 7th, and maybe I can do it with a major 7th. I could also do it with the rootless, any of those voicings. But if I just take that rootless voicing, I'm just sidestepping by going a half step up. I could also sidestep by going a half step down. So that's sidestepping. All I'm doing is moving a half step up or a half step down. Now ultimately I need to resolve things, but so there I just went up, down, and came back. So I am just sidestepping. I'm just going up a half step or moving everything up a fret or down a fret, or I'm even encircling or enclosing that root. We've talked about enclosures when we've worked on the improv stuff, but now I'm just moving a fret above, a fret below. Ultimately, I need to land back on it. And I can do this with any chord. So I did that with the major 7th there as an example in B flat. If I did the 2 chord, which would be C minor 7, I've got that same sort of thing. I can go a half step above, I can come back down. I can start above and come down. I can start below and come up. I can just sidestep a little bit there. And of course it works especially well with dominant 7th chords. So if I went to that F9 or that 5-7 there on that F chord, sidestepping, and I can just play around with that. Now, doing this in a 2-5-1 can be really helpful. So if we were doing like C minor 7 to the F7 to the B flat major 7, if I gave the C minor 7 a bar to the F7 a bar to that B flat major 7 a bar. So if I did some sidestepping, I did that in each one of those. I'll do it again. Now I threw a little melodic idea up there on top with that same voicing, which we talked about in the last lesson. So we really mix all 3 of these things together. We bring the voicings in, and then we get some rhythms happening, and then we get some melody ideas happening between the different voicing options that we have. And now we've got this sidestepping, adding in these passing chords, and we really start getting some great comping happening. So here's a couple more examples. I just move it around, and you can play around with it as much as you want to, just those kinds of ideas. And of course you can do it with the other forms as well. So I've got like F minor 7 to B flat 13 to E flat major 7. I can do the same sort of thing. Now, if we overdo it, it's too much, but just a little bit, and it spices things up pretty good. Now, what I did right there is kind of fun. Dominant 7th chords work really well in doing this sort of thing. And I can actually, instead of using the voicing that I'm landing on, which in that case was E flat major 9, I can use the dominant 7th above or below, which is kind of cool. And so right there I did that dominant 7th and then came down. So instead of using that major 7th and coming down, I used the dominant 7th and coming down. And you could do that with any of these. So my 2, where I just moved to the dominant 7th and instead of the major 7th on either side of that, the root one. So if I go up, so for example with B flat major 7, I go up to B13 or B7, and instead of B flat major 7, I could go down to A13 or A7 or something. I can use the dominant 7th on either side as well. So I can use the voicing itself, or I can also use the dominant 7th. So lots of cool ideas that should give you on how to get some more spice into the comping. Now, working these things over the backing tracks is great. In the last several lessons, we've been working with backing tracks that just have a bass line. And I'm going to go ahead and just demonstrate this a little bit, especially with like the rootless voicings that we've worked on over a backing track that just has a bass line. And it's going to go through the chord progression where it's got 2 5-1s that descend by step. So we'll start with D minor 7, go to G7 and C major 7, and then we're going to turn our 1 chord into the new 2 chord and go through C, F, B flat, so you get our new 2 5-1. So D, G, C, then it's going to become C minor, F, B flat, and etc. We would turn this into our new 2. That'll get us through 6 keys, and we'll come back to C major 7. Then we're going to go up to C sharp minor 7 and F sharp 7, B major 7, then continue B minor 7, E7, A7, take us through these 6 keys, and we'll end up back on B major 7, and that gets us through all 12 keys. We've done this sort of thing in previous lessons, so it shouldn't be all that tricky. So I'm going to go ahead and comp and just give you some ideas of how this works. You can play right along with me, steal any of the things that I am doing. These backing tracks, though, like all the backing tracks created for this lesson series, are available on the channel as they come out. So you can find a link in the description below for the one that we're going to use here together in this lesson. You can also go to the Jazz Jam Along backing track playlist and find any of the backing tracks that have been used there that you can jam along with. So a lot of the different ones we've been using lately have been going around different quality of chords, different chord quality around the circle of 4. So you could practice this with any of those, just worrying about one type of voicing. But the 2 5-1s are especially great. And so we've got these ones, and there's also the one that proceeds through the keys through the circle of 4s. You got the ones for the minor key as well. I'm demonstrating this in the major key with that 2 5-1. So great things. I'm going to go ahead and play this. We'll hear 6 hits on the hi-hat, 2 beats of rest, and then we'll be in and we can play over this together, getting some ideas flowing for your comping. Let's do it. Okay, awesome. I hope that helps with giving you some ideas on how to comp in this more contemporary style. Since lesson 33, where I gave you a formula for creating voicings, then we've worked on a lot of different types of voicings, some with the root, some without, for all the different qualities of chords that we end up playing. You should be really in good shape there. Of course, there's more voicings, and we'll learn about those later down the road. But we've also worked with the bossa nova comping style, which is really important in jazz. And then we've worked with this more contemporary way to play in the swing style. So getting beyond Freddie Green, which we use a lot, but getting beyond Freddie Green and comping in the way like a pianist would comp, which we really do a lot of when we're comping behind a soloist or behind a melody in that more interactive way. So we've worked on rhythms, we've worked on getting a melodic aspect on that top voice, and we've also now looked at how we can do some passing chords and that sort of thing. Getting all those things happening, those voicings, the rhythms, the melody, and now these passing chords really under our belt prepares us to comp these chords really well. And then prepares us to learn other voicings and start working in some other tricks as well. So super great there. As we continue now in the course, we're going to go back to working on our improvisation. We've got some tunes we've worked on in the past as we were layering in different ways to improvise. We're going to now, with everything we've covered on improvisation, start moving forward with more things. We got bebop and so on to come, but starting right with the course in the next lesson, I'm going to have an etude for you starting over those blues tunes that we worked a long time ago that sort of encompasses a lot of the lines. So as we're learning, it's really important to sort of break it down and work things out in our mind and then getting things happening under our fingers that we understand. It's also super valuable just to transcribe or play by ear. Learning etudes, a solo that's been written out, can be super helpful in getting ideas under our fingers. It's also really great to learn licks. So in the next couple lessons, we're going to work with some etudes over those blues tunes that we learned long ago that's going to encompass all the things that we've learned since we did those tunes. And then we'll work on some scales. We haven't done scales yet. Some arpeggios that we haven't done yet, learning all the forms along the neck, and then some licks. It really helps to also just work licks inside of those things, and we're going to do that for the different types of chords that we've been playing. I'm going to then start going into bebop after that. I have found that with most of my students, jumping into bebop too soon is just overwhelming. So we're going to work some of these other things for these different types of songs first. We're going to work through some different tunes, some etudes, and we'll get some of these things just kind of all brought together. And we'll start working specifically on bebop and nailing that bebop language, though bebop is already creeping into our playing with the things that we've worked on, and it will continue to do so as we work on these etudes, these licks, these scales, work on some more tunes. So lots of great things to come. These lessons are coming out on Mondays and Wednesdays. On Tuesdays, you got Technique Tuesdays, Theory Thursdays. All those things really complement and supplement the jazz course. And on Saturdays, we're improvising with pentatonic scales in the pop, rock, and blues style, which also is great for a jazz guitarist. So lots of great lessons coming out each week. You can check those out. Of course, there's the method books and hundreds of lessons already available on the channel that can help you as well. So keep at it, keep having fun, take care, and we'll see you again. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.